Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving right into the exact mechanics of transforming a classic static riddle into a highly engaging, suspenseful 18-second cinematic AI masterpiece. If you've ever found yourself wondering how those viral, visually stunning brain teasers are actually engineered behind the scenes, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the timeline, the prompt instructions, and the psychology behind a perfect visual reveal.
You know the line, I have cities, but no houses? On its own, it's a cute, fun little brain teaser, right? But how do you actually take static words like these and engineer them into a captivating 916 vertical hook? Because in the world of short-form content, you literally only have milliseconds to stop someone from scrolling. You have to translate simple text into an immersive world that absolutely demands the viewer's attention.
So we're going to use this beautifully stacked visual riddle as our foundation. It sets up a progression. Cities without houses, mountains without trees, water without fish, leading right up to the ultimate question of, what am I? We're going to take this exact conceptual sequence and reverse engineer it, rebuilding it into an ultra-realistic, perfectly timed, cinematic AI prompt. All right, phase 1, designing that cinematic atmosphere. When you're prompting an AI to build a cinematic experience, atmosphere is everything. It sets the whole subconscious tone. For this, our prompt demands a strict 916 vertical format, perfectly designed for mobile, and it's got to be dripping with mystery. We're talking dramatic lighting, subtle fog rolling through, all driven by an orchestral suspense soundtrack. We aren't just generating images here, we are manufacturing a hyper-realistic mood. But here is the absolute golden rule of this prompt. Do not reveal the answer until the final scene. Literally, zero visual spoilers. No maps, no map-like objects, nothing allowed before the final reveal. Because if you give an AI generator the answer to the riddle too early in the prompt, it will almost always try to sneak visual clues into those earlier scenes. You have to explicitly forbid the AI from showing our hand until the very last second. The suspense totally relies on keeping the viewer in the dark. Moving into the timeline, we need to craft some serious visual contradictions. We're going to structure this timeline in tight, relentless 3-second chunks. The prompt dictates exactly what happens from second 0 to second 6, setting up our first major visual contradictions to hook the viewer with this really unexpected sense of absence. In those crucial first 3 seconds, picture this, a breathtaking aerial shot of a massive futuristic city at night absolutely buzzing with light. The camera slowly drifts forward through the clouds, but then the text pops up, I have cities, followed by, but no houses. It creates this instant cognitive dissonance. Like, how on earth can this massive metropolis exist without a single house? Then, bam, let's look at seconds 3 to 6. We cut sharply from that neon city to endless mist-covered mountain peaks at sunrise. It's gorgeous, but the prompt specifically demands zero trees anywhere in sight. And the text reinforces it. I have mountains, but no trees. We're establishing a clear pattern here. Massive grandeur, followed by a stark, unnatural void. Now, we deepen the mystery by taking the viewer on a sweeping geographical journey. We did urban, we did high altitude. Next, the prompt orchestrates a sweeping drop down to the water. Notice how we transition from a crystal clear canyon river at 6 seconds to a vast ocean reflecting a golden sunset at 9 seconds. The 3-second piecing stays totally identical, but the sheer scale expands, making that emptiness feel even larger. And again, we're juxtaposing these vivid, ultra-realistic visuals of life-giving water against the unsettling realization that everything is completely dead still. The canyon river is calm, but the prompt insists no fish or wildlife are visible. The ocean has gentle waves reflecting the sunset, yet it appears completely static. The text simply says, I have water, but no fish. But combining these hyper-realistic landscapes with an absolute lack of life, the prompt generates an incredibly mysterious, almost haunting vibe. Which brings us to the climax of our 18-second short, the dramatic pause. Up to this point, we've been feeding the viewer a steady diet of epic visuals every 3 seconds. But to make that final reveal really hit, we have to pull the rug out. From 12 to 15 seconds, the visuals completely drop away. It just fades to black with a soft echo effect, and the suspenseful music totally takes over the narrative. We're literally forcing their brain to pause and focus entirely on the impending question. A single glowing question appears, what am I? And it just sits there in the dark for a full 3 seconds. Now, 3 seconds might not sound long to you, but in the short-form vertical world, a static black screen for 3 seconds is an absolute eternity. It's a highly deliberate instruction to make them stop, think, and ideally, jump into the comments to guess before time runs out. Finally, we hit the ultimate visual punchline. The tension is peaked, the music is swelling, and the viewer has their guess locked in. At exactly the 15-second mark, the camera initiates a slow zoom out and instantly shatters the illusion of those ultra-realistic landscapes we just flew through. The prompt masterfully reveals that every massive city, every barren mountain, and that vast ocean was actually just a beautifully illustrated part of an old parchment map resting on a wooden explorer's desk. That's why there were cities but no houses, water but no fish. It was literally ink on paper the whole time. That sudden zoom out is just so incredibly satisfying because it completely recontextualizes the entire video in a split second. The final text hits the screen. Answer: a map, complete with a little map emoji. The suspenseful orchestral track resolves into this deeply satisfying final chord, and we get a smooth fade to black to cap off the 18 seconds perfectly. It's a complete, self-contained narrative loop, totally optimized for a quick rewatch. So the big takeaway here is the immense power of structured pacing. We took an old-school text riddle, applied strict 3-second visual rules, atmospheric prompting, and a perfectly timed pause, and built a viral-worthy cinematic experience. Which really leaves us to wonder, what other simple, everyday objects are sitting right in front of you, just waiting to be reverse-engineered into a 15-second timeline of pure cinematic tension?